18 people are dead in France after the country just posted its hottest day on record. Paris just hit 40.9 degrees Celsius, smashing every single June temperature record in the city's history. And right now, 21 extreme heat warnings are already blanketing huge parts of the United States. But none of those numbers are actually what's killing people in this heat wave. There's a second temperature almost nobody talks about, and it's the one that matters. It's called the wet bulb temperature, and it decides whether your body can survive. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly where that deadly line sits. Across Western Europe right now, national heat records are falling one after another. Spain just logged 43.7 degrees Celsius in one town, its hottest daily average since 1950. The United Kingdom broke its own June heat record within the same handful of days. Belgium, Germany, Ireland, Italy, and the Netherlands all fell right in behind them. These aren't small local records either. Some countries are seeing their hottest readings ever. Meanwhile, on this side of the Atlantic, a massive heat dome has settled over the country. Forecasters are calling it the most widespread heat wave of the entire summer so far. The Weather Prediction Center used 3 words for it: significant, dangerous, and record-breaking. A powerful upper-level ridge is anchoring this thing, and it's about to peak. That peak is landing right around the 4th of July holiday weekend. Y'all. So if you're traveling for the holiday, you need to hear what's coming next. This isn't some far-off future problem. It's happening on both continents right now. In France alone, the dead include 2 children and 3 elderly people so far. Those are exactly the 2 age groups heat science says are the most vulnerable. Dozens more people drowned trying to cool off in rivers and lakes this week. Behind every one of these numbers is a family that just lost someone they loved. So here's the thing your body is doing every single second of a hot day. It's working nonstop just to hold your core temperature at a steady 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Your main defense against heat is sweat, and sweat only works if it evaporates. Evaporation is what actually carries the heat away from your skin and cools you. But that defense has a hidden catch that almost nobody thinks about until it's too late. Evaporation only works when the air around you still has room for more moisture. In dry air, your sweat evaporates almost instantly, and the cooling works great. In humid air that's already soaked, your sweat just beads up and drips off. That's exactly why a humid 95 degree Fahrenheit day can be more dangerous than desert heat. A dry 110 degrees Fahrenheit day out in the desert can actually be safer, believe it or not. In the desert, your sweat keeps evaporating and keeps pulling heat off your skin. In humid air, your body produces sweat and gets almost zero cooling in return. You're running the engine full speed, y'all. But the brakes are completely gone. When sweating fails, your body panics and pushes more blood straight toward your skin. That means your heart and circulatory system are suddenly working overtime in a crisis. This is exactly why so many heat deaths get mistaken for something else entirely. Doctors often log them as cardiac events or strokes instead of heat-related deaths. Older adults, infants, outdoor workers, and low-income families are the most exposed of all. They either can't regulate heat well, they can't stop working, or can't reach anywhere cooler. Heat is already the deadliest weather hazard in America, worse than floods and tornadoes combined. And the real death toll is likely way higher than what gets officially reported each year. So how do scientists actually measure the air's true ability to cool a human body? They literally build a thermometer that sweats, using a wick soaked in water. In dry air, water evaporates off that wick fast, and the reading drops way down. In soupy humid air, almost nothing evaporates, and the reading climbs close to real air temperature. The closer that wet bulb reading gets to air temperature, the closer you are to disaster. Scientists call this breaking point the limit of compensability, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Past that line, your body simply cannot cool itself down anymore, no matter what you do. Back in 2010, researchers Sherwood and Huber proposed a survival limit of 35 degrees Celsius. At the time, that number felt safely far away from anything happening on Earth. Then in 2022, Penn State researchers actually tested real humans inside heat chambers. Researchers tracked each volunteer's exact core temperature using a tiny ingestible capsule the whole time. The true limit turned out to be closer to just 30 or 31 degrees Celsius instead. Our bodies gave out sooner than the original math ever predicted they would. A 2025 review found there isn't even one single universal number that applies. Instead, the real danger zone is a range running from just 19 degrees Celsius up to 32 degrees Celsius. That range depends entirely on your age, your activity level, and the local humidity. 19 degrees Celsius sounds mild, but in dry air that actually equals a scorching 115 degrees Fahrenheit. In very humid air, that same 19 degrees Celsius threshold hits at just around 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, stay with me here, because what happened next is honestly hard to believe. This isn't some distant hypothetical. A major city already crossed that exact line for real. Back in June of 2015, brutal humid heat settled over Karachi, Pakistan for days. Air temperatures climbed as high as 45 degrees Celsius, soaked in heavy moisture off the ocean. The city's defenses collapsed, one after another, like a row of falling dominoes. First, the electrical grid completely buckled under the sudden massive demand for power. With no power, the pumps that moved the city's water simply stopped working. It also happened to be Ramadan, so many residents were fasting without water all day. In roughly 10 days, around 1,200 people tragically lost their lives in that heat. Hospitals were completely overwhelmed, and the city's largest morgue quickly ran out of room. That morgue filled up completely after taking in around 650 bodies in total. Families were left searching for loved ones among bodies left outside in the heat. Now here's the part that flips most people's entire idea of deadly heat upside down. You've probably heard of Europe's 2003 heat wave, or Russia's 2010 disaster before. Europe 2003 killed roughly 70,000 people, with 3,400 of those deaths happening in Paris alone. Russia 2010 killed an estimated 55,000 people, the worst disaster in the country's history. A heat dome even hit Lytton, Canada in 2021, setting a brand new national record. But here's the wild part. None of those events ever crossed the dangerous wet bulb line. That's because the air in all three of those disasters stayed completely dry the entire time. Dry heat kills slowly over many days by grinding down the hearts and kidneys of the vulnerable. Humid heat like Karachi's is rarer, but it shuts the body's cooling system down instantly. And the physics of a warming planet is manufacturing that exact kind of heat faster than anything else. Warmer air simply holds more water vapor, roughly 7% more for every degree Celsius, near any ocean, river, or irrigated farmland. Rising temperatures drag the humidity right up too. That's the hidden trap sitting inside every single forecast you'll see on the news this summer. A region can look at its forecasted high and think, okay, that seems totally survivable. But underneath that headline number, the wet bulb reading could already be creeping toward danger. The thermometer says you're fine, while your body is quietly running out of options. So where exactly is this dangerous line headed? And how fast is it moving toward us? At just 2 degrees Celsius of extra warming, a threshold we could actually hit within 2 decades. Roughly 35% of Earth's entire land surface becomes uncompensable for older adults at that point. That land includes most of India, most of populated China, and most of the eastern US. Think about that for a second, because it changes how you should read every forecast now. That same 2 degrees Celsius would roughly triple the danger zone even for young, healthy adults. Push it to 4 degrees Celsius, and over 60% of Earth's land surface crosses that same line. Some regions would face dangerous, uncompensable heat almost continuously, with barely any relief at all. Europe's 2003 disaster, once in a century event, could return every few years. The thing that almost never happened becomes the thing that happens nearly every single summer. This isn't fear-mongering, it's literally just where the published science currently stands right now. The children and elderly among France's dead this week are not some random coincidence. None of these numbers are abstract. They're already shaping who survives future summers. Now let's zoom in. because this isn't just some distant statistic happening somewhere else. What makes the eastern United States so concerning isn't even that it's the hottest place around. It's densely packed with people, sits right next to warm water, and stays humid by nature. Those three ingredients are exactly what pushes wet bulb temperatures up faster than anywhere else. Let's bring this closer to home and talk about the specific cities in the crosshairs. New York City is bracing for heat index values that could push well past 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Philadelphia is looking at nearly identical numbers, with humidity making it feel even worse. Washington, D.C. sits right in that same danger zone through the holiday weekend. Chicago and the rest of the Midwest could see heat index values climbing just as high. The entire Mississippi Valley corridor is under some of the most serious advisories in the country. Boston and the rest of New England are also sitting well within this dangerous heat corridor. Baltimore is expected to see some of the highest heat index numbers on the entire East Coast. Even Atlanta and parts of the Southeast are dealing with dangerously high humidity levels right now. Detroit and other Great Lakes cities are watching similar overnight lows that never really cool down. But remember what we just learned. The daytime number isn't even the scary part. Overnight lows across the Northeast and Midwest are forecast to stay in the upper 70s. Some spots could even sit in the low 80s overnight, warm enough to break records. That means bodies in these exact cities may never get a real chance to recover. No cool down at night means the strain just keeps piling up hour after hour. If you live in one of these cities, tonight might feel more dangerous than today. Coastal humidity off the Atlantic is exactly the ingredient making this forecast so serious. This is the same wet bulb math we just walked through, playing out in real time. It's not some tropical country far away. It's happening in major American cities right now. Down in Texas and across the Southeast, similar dangerous heat and humidity are stacking up too. If you're anywhere near the Gulf Coast, that humidity is working against your body right now. Have you personally felt a night where the temperature just never seemed to drop at all? So drop your city or your zip code in the comments down below right now. I want to know exactly which region you want me covering in the next video. Let me know down in the comments if your city has ever come close to numbers like these, whether that's the Southeast, the Southwest, or somewhere overseas. Just tell me down below. Okay, so the obvious question is, why don't we just crank up the air conditioning? Air conditioning genuinely is our single most powerful tool for surviving this kind of heat. But it's basically a trap with 4 walls, and you need to see all 4. Wall number 1 is cost, because running AC non-stop gets expensive fast for regular families. The people most exposed to deadly heat are often the ones who can least afford it. Wall number 2, air conditioning doesn't destroy heat. It just moves that heat somewhere else. Cooling your house pumps hot air straight out into the street outside your window in a dense city. That makes the outdoor air even hotter for everybody else. That effect even has a name. Scientists call it the urban heat island effect. Wall number 3 is the power grid, and this one should worry you most. Right now, there are 21 extreme heat warnings and 48 heat advisories active nationwide. The single hottest day of the year is exactly when the power grid is weakest. That's also exactly the moment everyone needs their air conditioning running at full blast. During heat waves like this one, utility companies often ask residents to conserve power during peak hours. A single transformer failure on the hottest day can leave entire neighborhoods without any cooling at all. Experts genuinely worry about a hurricane knocking out power right before a humid heat wave hits. That exact nightmare scenario is what keeps emergency planners awake at night this time of year. And wall number 4 is the cruelest one, because AC use actually feeds the warming itself. Cooling already makes up around 3% of all global greenhouse gas emissions worldwide today. The number of air conditioning units on Earth is projected to nearly triple by 2050. Now, before you scroll to the comments, no, this heat is not being engineered on purpose. Claims about HARP or cloud seeding creating heat domes just don't survive contact with basic math. Those facilities operate at a few megawatts, while a continental heat dome holds unimaginably more energy. Cloud seeding can nudge a little rain from an existing cloud. Nothing close to this. These temperature records are confirmed by thousands of independent weather stations across many countries. So here's exactly what you should be watching over the next several days and weeks. Keep an eye on overnight low temperatures just as closely as you watch the daytime highs. Pay attention to humidity numbers too, not just the plain temperature reading on your phone. Long term, none of this outcome is actually locked in or set in stone yet. The single most powerful fix is moving power grids toward clean energy as fast as possible. Cities can also fight back with reflective white roofs and way more shade trees everywhere. Networks of public cooling centers can genuinely save lives during the worst part of summer. Simple things like checking on elderly neighbors can genuinely make a life or death difference. Community cooling centers only work if people actually know where they are and use them. Hardened. Modernized power grids matter too, especially in neighborhoods with the oldest infrastructure around. The goal is protecting the old, the isolated, and the poor before the next wave hits. None of this is hopeless, but it does require choices being made starting right now. If this actually helped you understand your own local forecast better, smash that like button. And seriously, tell me your city down in the comments. I read every single one. Share this with anyone in your life who still thinks air conditioning alone will save them. So let's circle back to where we started, with those 18 deaths and that record heat. The thermometer outside your window is going to keep right on breaking records this summer. But now you know that number was never the one that actually mattered most. The wet bulb line is the real story, and it's closer than almost anyone admits. Hit subscribe if you want to know the moment your own city crosses that dangerous line.